Hey, what's up, guys? Here in the Fire Sports Pod, I'm your host, Zach Jackson. We're going to have a fire show for you guys today. I know it's 12 o'clock, so technically it's Recap Tuesday, but we are on Recap Monday, of course. Was a lot. I had a lot going on today, so couldn't get the show to you guys earlier, but we're still getting it in no matter what time, no matter what day, and no matter what's happening. So let's get right to it. We got a pretty packed show today. We're doing the Apple Podcast and audio show with the YouTube show. Basically, this show is going to be posted as an audio recording to the audio and Apple Podcast. So stay tuned to that. So we got a lot to go over. We had John Calipari. First off, what a weekend it was with the Final Four, the national championship for the women's and men's. Just ended. UConn goes back to back and takes down Purdue and Zach Edey. You have Iowa and Caitlin Clark lose to South Carolina, who South Carolina goes 38-0 and wins it all. Last year they went 36-0, lost to Caitlin Clark in the Final Four, which was the game before the national championship. So, in all, they have gone 36-1 and 38-0 in 2 seasons. They've had one loss in 2 seasons. And if you look at that, you have 38 plus 36. That's 74 wins and 1 loss. They are 74-1 in their last 75 games. That is remarkable for women's. That's ridiculous. Caitlin Clark has put this shit on the map. But maybe, could it be the Kobe Bryant effect? Remember, Kobe Bryant pushed so hard for the women's, and it was gonna go berserk with him, Gigi. It was gonna be crazy. Sadly, he dies in a helicopter crash. R.I.P. Rest in peace, Kobe. But can we say? I think this is the Kobe effect when it comes to the women's. Everyone's tuning in. I think it was like 13.8 million people turned into that South Carolina-Iowa game. That is remarkable. That is remarkable. It's probably more than the UConn Purdue that this happened. It's just ridiculous how it's at. So we're going to get to that. We're going to go over John Calipari leaving my Kentucky Wildcats to Arkansas. We're going to go over why I think Zach Edey needs to be coached a little bit more. Really needs to be coached. There are some moments against NC State, and there are some moments in the UConn game where Zach Edey has the potential of just a drop step to, if he's on the left, if he's on the right block, if you're looking at the court this way, he's on the right block. He goes for that hook with the left. If he drop steps right, he has a layup almost every time, and it's one-on-one. He goes into the defense. Yes, he's 7'4", but he still goes into the defense where he literally could just drop step right, and he gets an easy, or drop steps left and goes with the right hand, gets an easy layup. Easy layup. I don't understand. So we're going to get into that. And that will be pretty much it. This is Recap Monday. Let's get right into it. So first up, we're going to go over the most recent news. We're going to go over John Calipari. My man. My guy. Probably one of the best coaches in college basketball history. He has departed. It's a bad beat. It's a bad beat. Really is. It's a real bad beat. Because it kind of seems like it was Kentucky's fans that were really going crazy for no apparent reason. Yes, they lost against Oakland. Yes, they lost against St. Peter's a couple of years ago. It doesn't matter, bro. You don't go crazy like that on John Calipari. He doesn't deserve that. He has done so much for that program. Why do that? And you really don't know basketball. Yeah, people saying this might be good for Kentucky, fresh start. I'm sorry. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Now, there are suggestions. We have different coaches that Kentucky could pick up. So for our first segment, we're going to be going over what coaches can the Kentucky Wildcats pick up and which ones will be a good fit for them. So let's get right to it. First up, our one coach on the list is Nate Oates, the Alabama coach. Since Oates took the job at Alabama 5 years ago, he elevated the program to new heights. The Crimson Tide reached the Final Four for the first time in program history this season, less than a year after losing 7 of their top 9 scorers on a team that was the number 1 overall seed in the 2023 NCAA tournament. Due to his style of play, Oates will remain one of the most attractive coaching names in the carousel, even though he just signed a contract extension that was designed to keep him at UA until 2030. His buyout is $18 million, and while that is a massive number, it shouldn't prevent the Wildcats from taking a big swing. I would take Oates. Oates seems pretty good. I like Oates. Scott Drew of Baylor. Now, he's an interesting one. Now, Drew is a logical choice for the Kentucky drop because of his friendship with Barnhart. Another reason why Drew makes sense is because he's a program builder. He inherited a Baylor program that was on the verge of the death penalty. The death penalty might be absurd here, but it was. And they built into a national champion nearly 2 decades later. Drew is an excellent recruiter and developer of talent. He's 446 and 244 at Baylor and won 2 Big 12 regular season titles since 2021. The year Baylor went 28-2 and won the NCAA tournament. Scott Drew is not bad either. I like that too. Billy Donovan, Chicago Bulls coach. Whoa. The last coach to lead a team back-to-back NCAA tournaments have been coaching in the NBA since taking the Oklahoma City Thunder job in 2015. Could this be the year Donovan returns to college game? The Bulls are on track to miss the playoffs for the 3rd time in the last 4 seasons under Donovan's watch. And with the organization potentially on a crossroads between rebuilding and competing, this would be the perfect time to explore his options. Donovan started his coaching career as an assistant at Kentucky in 1989 and spent 5 years with the program before taking the job at Marshall. Donovan is 502 and 206 as a college head coach at Florida and Marshall. Now, the next guy could shock you. He just won back-to-back national championships. That's the man Dan Hurley from UConn. While it seems unlikely that Hurley would leave his post at UConn, you at least make the call if you're Kentucky. Hurley has built UConn into a juggernaut and will coach in his 2nd consecutive national championship game on Monday night in Phoenix, which he just beat Zach Edey and Purdue pretty handily. He is one of the more charismatic coaches in the sport and has a track record of recruiting and developing talent. Hurley is 291 and 163 as a coach at Wagner, Rhode Island, and UConn. The Huskies finished the 2022-2023 season with a 31-8 record and head into the title game with a 36-3 record. On top of that, now they are 37-3 with the national championship back-to-back. That's not that's probably unlikely, but worth a shot, right? I mean, worth a shot. Sean Miller, Xavier coach. The former Arizona coach is on his 2nd stint as the head of the Xavier program. After spending time as an assistant coach at Miami, Ohio, Pittsburgh, NC State, and Xavier, Miller was evaluated to lead the Musketeers. In 2004, he spent 5 seasons in his first stint at Xavier before guiding Arizona to 3 Elite 8 appearances in his 12 years with the program. After the Wildcats fired Miller in 2021 and he took a year off from coaching, Xavier hired him once again to lead the program. Miller is 465 and 184 as a coach. Next guy, Rick Pitino of St. John's. Pitino has had many stops over his long coaching career. One of those stops was the coach of Kentucky from 1989 to 1997. After coaching 2 seasons in the NBA for the New York Knicks, Pitino accepted the Kentucky job and went 219 and 50 at the school, which included a national championship in 1996 and 3 Final Four appearances. Pitino has a 731 and 303 record as a college coach and is coming off his inaugural season leading St. John's. Pitino is one of the great personalities in the sport that would help unite Kentucky's fan base. It's not a bad pick. Mark Pope, BYU coach. Pope played at Kentucky from 1994 to 1996 and was Kentucky's 1996 national championship team, playing a role bringing home the program's 6th national title. As a coach, Pope has been a steady rise since starting his coaching career as an assistant coach at Georgia in 2010. After stint as an assistant coach at Georgia, Wake Forest, and BYU, he landed the Utah Valley job in 2015 after spending 4 seasons in the WAC WAC. Pope was hired by BYU. Pope has guided BYU to 2 NCAA tournament appearances and finished the 2023-2024 season with a 23-11 record in its first season as a member of the Big 12. It's not a bad. Again, these are all great picks. These are all great picks. There's nothing wrong with these picks. I just really wish Kentucky would have kept Calipari. Now, one of the top jobs in college basketball opened unexpectedly, like we said, on Sunday, with Kentucky coach John Calipari expected to take the vacant job at Arkansas after 15 seasons with the Wildcats. Kentucky will have a coaching vacancy just weeks after Kentucky athletic director Mitch Barnhart met with Calipari to confirm he would be returning for his 16th season with the program. CBS Sports' Matt Norlander reported that Calipari leaving Kentucky has been on the table since February. Norlander also reported that Calipari privately expressed significant and serious interest in the Ohio State job, but the timing wasn't right. The Buckeyes elected to elevate interim coach Jake Diebler after he helped turn around the program immediately after former coach Chris Holtmann was fired. There been a long list of high major coaches that checked most of the boxes Kentucky is looking for. One of them is recruiting at a high level. Now, Kentucky finished this season, as we know, losing to Oakland in the first round. Maybe it was time for a change. I just don't see it, man. But we have a problem already. Recruiting at a high level. Kentucky finished with a top 5 recruiting class every cycle since 247 Sports started tracking team rankings in 2010. The Wildcats landed the number 1 recruiting class in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2015, 2020, and 2023 under Calipari's watch. The last time the program embarked on a coaching surge, Kentucky poached Calipari from Memphis. Who will Kentucky decide to this time? It's too early to tell, but we've come up with some potential candidates Kentucky should consider to replace Calipari. And that's the guys that we just told you. Now, the roster fallout from Coach John Calipari's decision to leave Kentucky for Arkansas began Monday as Kentucky freshman Aaron Bradshaw entered the transfer portal, and top 25 recruit Carter Knox decommitted from the Wildcats and reopened his recruitment. Bradshaw has considered transferring out of the program before news of Calipari's expected departure, sources told ESPN, after the up and down first season in Lexington. Knox will still consider Kentucky once it hires Calipari's replacement. His father told ESPN, and Arkansas will also be under consideration. A McDonald's All-American in 2023 class, Bradshaw was ranked number 6 in the ESPN's 100 coming out of high school. However, a foot injury last spring forced him to miss the entire offseason and delayed his Kentucky debut until early December. So that is just not the best case scenario. Kentucky, Calipari goes, and these two guys, one decommits and one transfers. That's just ridiculous. Now, we said Carter Knox, one of the top prospects in 2024 recruiting class, has announced his decommit from Kentucky amid news of John Calipari's departure. According to multiple reports, Knox reportedly hasn't officially signed a letter of intent to the school, so he will not have to request a release. According to the industry's generated 247 Sports composite rankings, Knox is currently rated at the 19th best player in the class of 2024, the 6th best small forward, and 2nd best prospect in Georgia. Knox committed to Kentucky back on March 9th over Louisville USF and the NBA G League, and an additional year at Overtime Elite. Ironically, the rising forward also had a scholarship offer from Arkansas as well as Arizona State, Auburn, Boise State, Florida State, and Illinois. Jesus. Yeah, he ain't coming back. Get the fuck out of here. He ain't coming back. No way he comes back. But yeah, that's just a little bit on what's happening with Kentucky and the Wildcats, man. This is just the worst news you can think of if you're a Kentucky fan, as like me. I just did not see this coming. As you guys can see, I'm shocked. It's not I'm tired. I'm shocked. Still shocked. Got the news last night. I was still shocked. How do we let Calipari just skedaddle like that? Just messed up. All right, well, we went over John Calipari's situation. Now we're going to go into March Madness, man. It's over already? Damn, that was fast, ladies and gentlemen. Like, holy crap, that was fast. If you guys didn't think that was fast, then I don't know. You guys must be living under a freaking rock, because that damn thing was fast as hell. Fast as hell, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go over the brackets for us. So we finished our brackets for the women's. We had South Carolina, Iowa, We got that one wrong. So my bracket for the women's here, trash. We got the South Carolina Iowa national championship correct, but not that. Kevin lost. He had UConn there. Tennessee wasn't. So he lost this one. That was trash. Trash. Joe won. Joe picked UConn to win it all. He only had UConn there. He had Tennessee. Tennessee wasn't even close. They lost. They got killed. They lost to Purdue. And then me and my dad's bracket, we had UConn against Kentucky. So it's a big X. So he had one win. Me and Joe picked Kentucky, UConn to win it. And there's our big monster win. That's pretty embarrassing, I would say. So me and Joe got the win. Other than that, that was pretty much it. That was it, guys. I mean, that was pretty much it. I mean, we'll look at my my ones on my app. So we're gonna start with the CBS. We're gonna go with the Kentucky one that we had. We had UConn versus Kentucky. X. That one's done. We had UConn. We got it right. It was UConn versus Houston. UConn won. So we got our bracket right here. That's the only bracket I think I got right. I had LSU for the women's. They lost. I had Iowa. They lost. So I've gotten one bracket right. We go to the ESPN one. Well, we all know I had Kentucky. They lost. Iowa. They lost. So ESPN, I didn't get nothing. And for the March Madness Live app with my friends, I had Kentucky, got 12th place, lost. For the NC State one, I got 100 points, but as you know, NC State lost to Purdue. So that was pretty much it. But yeah, so it wasn't my best. I had one by myself. I picked UConn, got it right. Just UConn, and me and Joe got UConn right, just UConn. So it's pretty ass. But they were some good games, man. I mean, we just go back to Friday when we were talking about this. I mean, we had Friday going on. We had NC State for the women's get demolished by South Carolina. And what a game was between Iowa, Caitlin Clark, and UConn, Paige Beckers, 71-69. But it came down to a controversial call when they called the illegal screen on UConn's big to give Paige Beckers an open shot, either for the win or for the tie. I mean, I think it was the right call. She kind of flared up. She moved a little bit, but I don't think you make that call that late in the game. Just don't think you make that call. But Iowa advances. Then on Saturday, you had Purdue take down NC State. I thought NC State was going to have it, but Burns got into foul trouble early, and Zach Edey just dominated. He just played the way he played. And then UConn, Alabama was giving UConn a run for their money, but UConn still beat them by 14 points. It's nuts. And then going into on Sunday, national championship for the women's, you had Iowa versus South Carolina. Iowa came out hot. Caitlin Clark came out hot, moving the ball, scoring the ball. Halftime, 2 straight steals back-to-back for South Carolina, gives them a 3-point lead going into halftime. And then, I don't know, man. South Carolina just took it to them in the second half and never looked back. They won by 12 to complete the perfect season and to go 74-1 in the last 75 games. That is remarkable. They win their national championship this year. Caitlin Clark is going to be the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft. She has done so much for the game of basketball for women's and even men's, beating men's records too. So congrats to Caitlin Clark and congrats to South Carolina. And then today, like we said, UConn gets the win over Purdue, 75-60. Kind of controlled the whole game. Second half, it was all UConn. Zach Edey, I believe Zach Edey had 37 points and 10 rebounds. That is remarkable. 37 points out of the 60 that Purdue scored. But bro, their only guy that went in double digits was Smith. He had 12 points. Their starting forward had 4. Their guard had 5. Their other guard had 0. Their guard had 12. Coming off the bench, they had a guy that scored forward 2 points. That was the only scoring off the thing. So you look at that. That's just not going to cut it against UConn. I mean, UConn just dominated. I mean, if you go to UConn's side, 5, 11, 15, 20, 11, 4, 9. That's much better, man. You can't compete with that. So hats off to Edey and Purdue getting this far, finally making a national championship. But UConn, man, they were just too good, bro. Too good. Too good. But yeah, that's pretty much it for college basketball. Now we move to the women's side of things. I really think that this side of the women's that we're seeing now has something to do with Kobe Bryant. Most of the women's that are really on top and really doing well in college and going into the WNBA have been mentors and have talked and been around Kobe Bryant. And he was advocating for the women, saying they could play in the same thing. They are the same people, whatever the case is. He was doing it. And look what's happening. I mean, you're getting more viewers than the Final Four for the men's, for some NBA games, from some NFL games. That is just remarkable to even think about and fathom. Women's March Madness college basketball. It was remarkable. First time me doing brackets this year, it was awesome to even do. It was crazy. So, this has a Kobe Bryant effect on it. I'm telling you, this is it. This is the reason. It's for Kobe. This is because of Kobe. Kobe started it, and they're gonna finish it for him. R.I.P. Rest in peace, Kobe Bean Bryant and Gigi Bryant and everybody else that was on that helicopter. But now moving off from a less depressing statement. We went over the Calipari situation. We went over the March Madness brackets. We went over the Kobe Bryant effect with the women's college basketball. And now we're going to go into my problem with Zach Edey. Now, my problem with Zach Edey is not because he sucks. He's really good. He doesn't use all the tools that he has with himself. He has a bunch of shit that he can go to at any time. And he just sticks with this stupid this hook shot, which he's great at. But he's going into the NBA, bigger, more physical guys. He's not going to be able to get that off. He's going to have to use some movement. He's going to have to try different things. He's going to have to use his other side to score the basketball. So now if you look at this right here, right? So I'm going to show you guys something. If you look at this. So I'm going to show you a video. If you guys can see it. I hope you can see it. Hold on. If you guys can't see it, my bad. But if you look at it, look. So you see that right there? So you see how he goes into the defense? If he just, on that play right there, if he just, so I'm going to show you guys again. If I'm going to pause it right when he gets the ball. So look. Ah, shit. Okay, look. Ladies and gentlemen, look. So it's early in the quarter. It's not crazy. It's early. Ah, crap. It's early, right? So he gets it there. Right there. Drop step right, and he gets an easy layup, but he decides to go into the defense and does a fader, and he hits all the backboard. See, that's the problem. He has the skills. He literally just drop steps, turns. It's a layup. He's 7'4". It's an easy layup all day, every day. But he decides to take the bullshit. I don't get that. He had 37 points. He could have had 50. He could have had 60. Just off of that one move. He can drop 40 a game just off that move because people are just playing him for that hook shot. He's got to mix it up. He's got to do different things. If you look at the highlights from NC State, just look at them, guys. He does that all the time. He does the same thing. I'm looking at it right now. He does the same thing all the time. Right here. So right here, he has a shot, right? He has the ball. If he drop steps the other way, right? Hold on. Okay, right? Edey gets that, right? Okay, that's not that. Here we go, right there. So he gets the ball, right? Drop step right now. He drop steps right now. One dribble drop step. He has an easy layup. That's a tough shot. I get he's 7'4", but this is all his highlights that he's going to make. But there's different things that he should do at his height where it could just be like, oh, shit, my bad. It could just be simple. It could just be totally so much more simpler if he just does that stuff. Just drop step right, drop step left. Go with your inside and not always your outside. It would just be so much easier at your height. But it doesn't do that. Against a team like this, gotta be, other players got to show up. You got to get that there. I think he's got to be coached more, guys. I think he does. I don't think he's ready where he'll just start on an NBA team. He'll do it because he's 7'4", but I don't think he's going to succeed like people think he is. He's got to be coached better. He's got to use that other side because he'll be more dominant and more of a force to be reckoned with if he uses that other side. If he doesn't, then he's not going to be as good as everyone thinks he's going to be. I'm sorry. Sorry to say, but he's not. It's just the facts. He's not going to be as good as people say he is if he doesn't use that other side. That's it, man. That's it. That's all I got. That's it. Other than that, he's great. He can't shoot. He can shoot his free throws, which is good for a big man, but he can't shoot. So all he is a post. He was the best player in the league 2 years in a row, and they didn't win no national championship. They got there. They didn't win it. They were supposed to be there last year, but they weren't. They were supposed to be there this year. They weren't. They couldn't win. They faced UConn, who just was just a beast. They were back-to-back champs. I mean, you can't do nothing about that. It's so hard to do that, and the fact that they did it is just remarkable. So hats off to them. They deserved it. But yeah, other than that, guys, that is pretty much it. That's all I got for you guys today here on our show on the Fire Sports Pod and also Apple Podcasts, Spotify as well. I hope you guys enjoyed my YouTube show and my audio show at the same time. Appreciate all the support, guys. We touched upon the Calipari situation with Kentucky, the transfer and a decommit for Kentucky. We also touched upon my brackets for both the men's and women's and how they did and how me and my friends did and my cameraman, and also how the Kobe Bryant effect on the women's has been crazy this year, and I believe that has something to do with it, why they're going crazy, and it's still to come. He started it, they're going to finish it. We talked there. We also talked about how Zach Edey can improve and needs more coaching, because if he goes to an NBA team at a higher level, he's not going to be as good as people think he's going to be. And then, as we know, we talked about the defending national champs. They're double champs. We talked about the women's champs. We talked about the men's champs. We talked about the Final Four matchups that happened over the weekend. The Yankees are on a run. They're 9-2. Still beginning of the season. The Lakers are up there. We'll have more on the Yankees and the Lakers on Wednesday on our show. Appreciate all the support, guys. Catch you guys on Wednesday. We are now on episode 4 coming up on Wednesday of season 3. Appreciate all the support, guys. It's been a great ride, and let's keep moving on. Appreciate it all. Have a great rest of your night, or I should say morning. Well, a Tuesday morning, and I'll catch you guys on Wednesday here on Recap Monday / Recap Tuesday morning. I will catch you guys on Wednesday. I'm your host, Zach Jackson, here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we do here, as far as you guys know the drill. Catch you guys Wednesday. Peace.